Welcome back to House TV Live. I'm Rick Spence, and with me today is Ann Wayno with Ann Wayno Interior Design in beautiful Miami, Florida. And we're going to check out a lovely, cool, heavenly kind of vibe to this home. Really awesome. Thanks for joining us, Ann. It's great to have you.
It is so good to be here, Rick. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so fired up.
So tell me about these clients and this home and what was sort of their need.
So we've been working together for about 5 years. So I started with their nursery, and then they moved into a new apartment. So I did their whole apartment. And now, after having 2 kids and COVID, they were like, we got to get out of apartment living, like so many people. And we live in Florida. So they purchased this home in the most beautiful family-friendly neighborhood with a pool and all the things that you would want, especially coming out of a season like COVID. So I was so honored that they asked me yet again for the 4th time to do this. The house was beautiful when they bought it. It's a stunning home with incredible bones. But I believe it was about 7 or 8 years old when they purchased it. And it had actually a decent amount of wear and tear. The whole place needed, new bathrooms. The bathrooms were very outdated, even though they were only, 7 or 8 years old, they were pretty bad. It was special because it wasn't a gut renovation, but it was a soft gut renovation that made all the difference.
Give me a feel for the overall vibe of what you did here.
Yeah. So the wife loves that sort of new California look that's been around for the last couple of years. It's been really on trend in our industry. And she said, listen, I want this home to have like a light, neutral, very warm and inviting sort of environment, like a lot of these homes. That was really the direction we took. All that said, because welcome to design and clients and husband and wives, the husband is like, I want color. So those two things are very opposite, right? This like neutral California with color. But we were able to meet his needs as well. There's some pops of color, minimally done, but enough where he was satisfied. And my job as a designer is to make sure the husband and the wife are both satisfied. And we did that in this design. The husband actually used the idea books in-house. So when we first kicked this off, they sent me those. So I was able to navigate their vision.
Let's start in the kitchen, dining sort of living space where I see a little pop of color with the couch, nice blue there, which is really cool. And you've got some materials choices and some things you did there. A lot of white, a lot of neutral.
When you go neutral, there is just something very intentional about that. You walk into a home and it feels, even though it's neutral, it feels so inviting. Like it's a blank canvas, but to your point, layered with texture, material, artwork. You notice the details more. So that's one thing when we were talking about the project in advance here, it's like you walk in and you notice the light fixture probably more than you would had we had a different color on the wall or wallpaper on the wall. So all of those elements really take shape and stand out. Even the detail on the dining room chairs. They have a really beautiful gold detail to them. Same with the bar stool chairs. We matched those. Artwork takes a whole new meaning. When you walk in, you see it right away. It was one of the heroes of the home. We wanted to make sure we live the house is in Coral Gables, which is, part of Miami. So we wanted to keep the integrity of the home and of the location of the home, but we didn't want the modern Miami. So we wanted to make sure that it really felt warm, inviting, comfortable, and family friendly, because that's another big design challenge that we had for this home.
What were some things that you were able to repurpose, and what were some things that had to come out? So, for example, in the kitchen, was some of the materials repurposed? Was the floor repurposed? Give me a feel for some of the big material choices that you had to make in the space.
Yeah. So one choice we had to make was the floors. The floors they wouldn't have been my first choice, but they were in really good condition. And again, they were relatively neutral. So they have a light gray, almost like a light cement tone to them, which is cold. So that, again, when you're designing, you have to offset cold material with something warm. So that the floors and the material there stayed throughout the whole home. In the kitchen specifically, again, bones were good, but it had a lot of wear and tear. We removed all the cabinets to get fully refinished, repainted, new hardware, more modern hardware. We added the brass element. This is one of my favorite backsplashes that I've installed. It's a classic Carrera Subway backsplash, but it has this beautiful gold line throughout it. Again, the details matter when you have a neutral space, a white kitchen. and then you put a backsplash like that in, it's really going to stand out. And in this case, it did. So those are some of the things that we did in the kitchen and the flooring throughout.
Tell me about this incredible, it's like a lounge space. I feel like I'm just, what a great space with the marble table and the floor covering. That's a whole nother experience right there. Tell me about that.
Yeah, exactly. So in home with kids, there's clients that often they say to me, Anne, I don't want my space to feel like kids are here. Like they love their kids, but we want to create an environment that feels adult friendly, especially when we do have people over. But more importantly, for our daily life, like we don't want stuff everywhere. So let's make a space that's refined and sophisticated, but appropriate for kids. So that's exactly what we did here. So the sofa, it's one of my favorite sofas. And it's actually like that whole piece, the wood piece, it's all connected. So that wood piece, it's a storage drawer. So you can hide the remotes and, everything right in there. And we used, of course, a performance friendly fabric. It's a dream to have a family friendly client say we're okay with this sort of light beige sofa, because that's a dream. And then what I really wanted to do was add something bold with a robust pattern on the ground, because everything else is it's pretty neutral. So when you're designing, it's all about balance. So I wanted to make that flooring stand out. It's also family friendly, because if somebody spills or there's crumbs or whatever, you don't notice it as much. Food for thought for homeowners that have kids. And the marble table. So it's a little risky for family friendly because it does have 90-degree, edges, but it doesn't move. It weighs, I think it was 350 pounds. And it's very low to the ground. I think it's only about maybe 12 to 14 inches, maybe 16 off the ground. So no one's going to get hurt. And no one's going to run into it like with their head, like that's always a thing as well. So it's a beautiful piece of stone that again offsets the warmth and the pattern and everything that we have going on in there.
Some other things you did here. So you've got the kid spaces. Tell me about the room with the little dinosaur in it. That looks like a beautiful kid space.
Yeah. So for this space, she put the boys in one room because the other rooms were getting occupied for guest bedroom and office, etc. And these boys are obsessed with dinosaurs. When I was brainstorming and ideating what we were going to do, I said, tell me about, what phase they're in. What do they love? And so she said dinosaurs. And I'm thinking like, okay, we got to figure out how to do dinosaurs like in a classy way. She still loves neutral. Like that's what she loves. So I'm like, let's see. And she actually sent me some really good inspiration that helped sort of really shape the concept of this space. So that was really, really fun. I found a lot of good vendors that had well-designed dinosaur stuff.
I think that little room's going to get shared quite a bit on House.
Yeah, it's a special space. And the bunk bed, every kids want bunk beds, and these boys are at a perfect age for it, and they're going to grow with them for a while. And we made sure to carry sort of the green tone and what we did in their room into their bathroom as well. So everything really, I think the number one thing I get from homeowners, probably in the top 3, let's say, is cohesion. They're like, come into my house. I bought all this stuff. It's all nice, but none of it flows. And so that is a frustration that homeowners have. They don't have the ability to do that. So we really tried to make sure throughout all the spaces that there was cohesion, and we did not exclude the boys' space from that.
I love this other space for the kids. It's like this little getaway loft with their little chairs. They can read and hang out. That is awesome.
Yeah, that was a really fun space to design because it's right off of their bedroom. It's actually it's in between the master bedroom and their bedroom. And it's right when you land as you walk up the stairs. And it was like, okay, we made sure the downstairs was very sophisticated, adult and kid friendly, but aesthetically, it obviously airs more adult downstairs. So upstairs is where we had a little bit more fun and we were more playful. There's that little acrylic table that's also very kid friendly. So they sit there, they have breakfast. If they spill, it's really easy to, clean up and not get worried about. There's the storage bench. You're seeing it perfect right now, but all the toys, that bench is filled with all kinds of stuff, probably like bagels from a few weeks ago as well.
So let's go into one of the bathrooms here because you did a lot of work. There's how many bathrooms in this home?
There's 5 bathrooms. Well, 4.5, but
okay, so 4.5.
I would say my favorite for sure is the master. So we sourced a really beautiful classic Calcutta hex tile for the shower. And again, all around the jacuzzi tub that's there. It literally made all the difference. It took that bathroom from like circa 10 years ago to 2021. And it, again, it's classic. Calcutta marble is a stone that's been around for arguably thousands of years. And so you can never go wrong. It's not going to go out of style. So it was really worth the investment. We wanted it to feel like a spa, like a little oasis off of their bedroom. So the grass cloth wallpaper that you're seeing behind the vanity, that just it's peaceful. That color brings peace into any space. So it sets the tone right when you walk in. And again, everything else is pretty neutral. We added some really beautiful linens and some nice gold fixtures and hardware and things like that to round out everything. And it just came together really, really nicely. It looks like a new bathroom. Yeah.
Give me a feel for what you did in the backyard. I imagine the pool was there already.
Yeah. The footprint stayed the same. Right. So there wasn't any massive construction on the outside, but we activated the spaces much better outside. So we created a beautiful lounge space where the sectional sofa is to lounge and, hang out. And then we added an outdoor kitchen, fully repaired and restored that pergola. And then we added plexiglass to the top of it and these beautiful Italian string lights throughout. And so now there's a whole moment. There's this outdoor kitchen. There's artificial turf adjacent to the pool. So that whole backyard and this cute kid space back there. So now the kids can be running around, the husband's grilling, the wife's prepping inside. She can see outside from her window in the kitchen, and everything is activated in a much more cohesive way. And of course, much, much more beautiful. Everything got painted. The exterior of the house got painted. Again, we restored the pergola. There's a lot of work that people don't notice. That's not as sexy as some of the other things that we do, but makes all the difference in a space.
I like the phrase activated the space.
Yeah.
Activated it. We activated it. You made it official. You turned it into something. Before, the space was not activated.
It wasn't activated, right? That's it. The thing is with COVID, everybody is in there. I mean, unfortunately, now we're in this new season of COVID and people are realizing, they spend a lot of money on a home and they're only activating using maybe 50% of it. Like, that's a shame that you're going to pay a mortgage every month and you should be paying half that mortgage then if you're not using the space to its maximum capacity, which is a reason to hire an interior designer of many, because we can show you what's possible, and you don't have to spend a ton of money either. There's a lot of ways to activate spaces to make them more beneficial when you're living inside the space.
Amazing house. So yeah. I want to ask you, so you've been on House for several years. These are repeat clients who you've been engaging with. You said you started with a nursery, now you're doing homes. So you've kind of grown it. How have you sort of evolved with the tools that you use to collaborate with clients and get in sync and everything else? Tell me a little bit about how you use House and how you collaborate with your clients.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start by saying literally when I got House Pro, it changed my design business, like without question. Prior to using House Pro, and House, just the consumer end of House, right? So both sides of that, I wasn't activating before. Like it wasn't part of my business. I didn't know about it. I learned about it at a conference. And prior to that, I was using like Excel spreadsheets. And I love a good Excel spreadsheet, but not to run a business, not to collaborate with a client. It's not professional. Everything takes 10 times more work because you have to manually calculate things and, sending proposals that way. Like, it's not ideal at all. So what's really fun about this client is they hired me before I was using all the House tools. And so I was talking to the homeowner, like, it's amazing how things have changed, right? Because now this homeowner went from getting like emails and Word documents and Excel spreadsheets from me, and we did it and it worked, and everyone has to start somewhere. But now there's a professionalism to what I'm doing, how I'm communicating. And I am not kidding. I'm not getting paid by House. It literally changed my business. Right. And so they get the proposals. It's so easy, clicking, approving. They can see everything. I love in a project that big, I do my proposals one room at a time because we have a master budget. And then I sort of break down my budget per room. So then when I'm doing proposals, I get proposal per room. It's so straightforward. The client sees all the pieces, bing, bam, boom, approve it, pay for it, done. It saves hours of my precious time as a business owner that I don't want to be spending in Excel. So it's been a game changer. I could go on and on.
Well, thank you so much, Ann. It's been a real pleasure to get a walk through with you, and I hope we get to do it again sometime. Really beautiful space. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to you guys, and I can't wait to talk more soon.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.